Hello, beautiful people, and this is your year reading for 2016. I'm actually going to be using the Fairy Tarot cards by Radleigh Valentine and Doreen Virtue because they have become my favourite deck the last few months, and I thought what better time to connect to the beautiful magical energy that they have. Of course, we'll be asking the angels. It's always my intention to connect with the angels, to all of our heavenly helpers, to give us guidance, and to remember that as you're watching this reading, to really pay attention to the messages that you receive, because obviously this reading is general for all of us, and that means that there are certain themes that are occurring throughout the year. It doesn't mean that everyone's year is going to be the same. But this reading allows us to pay attention to what perhaps we want to focus more on at different times of the year, perhaps what to put our energy into, maybe to be aware of certain little blips that come up and times to make the most of certain things. And we're all unique, and the angels and the fairies and all of our heavenly helpers will be wanting to share with us in a very personal way. So when you're watching this, if you get an idea or an inspiration or think, oh, well, that's about that, or I've been wondering about that. Pay attention. Perhaps you might want to take some little notes when you're watching this, or re-watch it and do the same, or even you can do your own reading. But this is a guide for you, and I'm excited to see what the fairies have to say for us, starting, of course, with this month, January. Alright, so this card is the Dreamer, which is absolutely perfect because it is the first card in the entire tarot deck, and it is, of course, a fairy. She's starting on a new path, and it says, embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, trust yourself. So what the angels and the fairies are showing me for this month is it's really important to continue to let any old energy go from the last few weeks at least, or any part of 2015 that might be kind of having you waver about what your next step is. If you're not completely clear about that, it's okay. We're not supposed to rush into any major action. As this card says, it's most important to believe in yourself, to trust in yourself, and to really build that strong foundation so that when you do take steps, when you do begin that journey along your new path, that you feel confident about doing so and about really embracing what is new rather than holding on to the old, and dreaming new dreams if you need to, because sometimes what we think we want then changes after even a few weeks sometimes, doesn't it? So look at this beautiful fairy, dream new dreams, and trust in yourself, especially this month. Alright, so the second card, the card for February, is Awakening. Beautiful card. Change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness. A temporary pause in action. Now this is really interesting because actually we're experiencing Mercury retrograde through all of January, and sometimes, by the time we get to February, we'll be like, oh yeah, I'm ready to take action. Well, this card is actually implying that we still may feel a little more inward in February, that it's still an opportunity for us to embrace all of our uniqueness. And by that, I mean, if you feel like you've been dropped off on the planet, or, there just aren't people like you, or maybe you think something is too weird or too different, or you can't possibly follow your dreams, the fairies and the angels right now are saying, yes, you can. That's the whole point. The whole point of you being unique is to do what's right for you. And the more that you can be accepting of that, the more the rest of your life will flow. In fact, I've often found that my most kind of out there dreams, or the things that I find most unique about me are the reasons why I get to do what I do, the reason why I get to talk to you right now. So don't worry if you're feeling still a little bit slow out of the gate in the next couple of months, because it feels like it's really going to allow us to just spring into action later on. So let's see what the card for March is, see if this is true. Yes, yes, yes. Again, another major arcana card. We've had three in a row for the first 3 months of the year. And actually, that is a powerful time of change, a powerful time of transformation. It really means, big things. And so by the time you get to March, it says a brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. So actually what this says to me is that because we've been doing so much inner work in the first 2 months of the year, that we're really going to be able to be out in the world in March, that by the time we've done all of that, being quiet and reflective and all of those things, that March is really going to see us springing to action and literally have the world of our feet. And because of that, we'll have all kinds of different possibilities available to us. They're saying that it's really important that we say yes to opportunities in March because they are a result of all the work that we've done in the first part of the year. So we can confidently go for it in March. Yay! All right, so and here we go for April. Oh yeah, I love summer cards that come up. This is all about our emotional fulfillment more, the summer cards. And it says news we're celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations or births, friends you cherish. So if you are somebody that has been in a relationship for a while and perhaps you're wanting to take your relationship to the next level, then it looks like April is a great time to do that. Similarly, if one of your dreams this year is to grow your family and to have a baby or, adopt perhaps, then April looks like a great time to do that, or a great time for news of that. It's beautiful. It's also a time, again, like we said, it seems to be going in a couple of month themes right now, but whereas January, February feels, more inward, March, April is really saying, yeah, be sociable, spend time with your friends, have fun. There's going to be lots to celebrate as you go into that time. They're also saying that connections that you make at that time are really significant for the rest of the year. So let's see what happens, but you can absolutely ask the angels and the fairies to bring you that support. I've really felt like this year has been a year for us to call on the support that we desire and that we need. It's absolutely okay for us to ask for our emotional, material, spiritual, mental needs to be met, because we live on a human planet, and part of that is really allowing ourselves to receive the support, to ask for help when we need it, rather than feeling like we have to do everything ourselves. That actually magic happens when beautiful connections are made. All right, so going into May, again, a theme here is occurring because May also looks like a beautiful time for our relationships. It says an emotionally fulfilling life with family or friends, raising children wisely, and people you can trust. So again, the theme here seems to be connections that we make. And also they're saying that whereas April is more about, the celebrations and the excitement, perhaps, of those connections. This is also about that longevity, about the lasting connections that you're making because of that joy that you're sharing with others. It's a beautiful time. And just as I said, that the connections that you make around this time are really beautiful for your year, not only for your year, but actually in many years to come. They're saying there's a lot of long-lasting relationships and friendships being built, especially around April, May time. Okay, so June, let's see, June is beautiful. June is a busy, busy time. The Empress, it's time to take action. The power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. Woohoo! So this is your abundance. This is, like we were saying, about all of the work that we've been doing, allowing ourselves to receive. Of course, it doesn't have to be financial, but of course we can absolutely say yes to that. There seems to be a big collective energy swirling around, much more so now, about those of us who are self-employed, who are healers, creative people, teachers, allowing ourselves to be, you know, in the flow of prosperity, because it is the energy that we exchange at this time, you know, and that it absolutely allows us to give even more. So you can ask the angels to help you to be open to that, because it does look like in June it's a real time of action. It's not a time to sit on your laurels. It's time to build the momentum of everything that you've been creating. And they're saying that it's like what we were talking about at the beginning of the year. So what we've been thinking about now and in February is really going to not only be obvious to us by then, but we're really going to be able to see the quote-unquote success of it in a very tangible way in June. So yay for that. All right, so going into July. Now this is really interesting. Not only is it another major arcana card, so it's full of beautiful changes for us this year, but it's renewal. Review the past and the present so you can plan a bright new future. Understanding your life purpose, releasing judgments of yourself and others. So this is interesting because obviously we've had half of the year. So actually this can be a beautiful time to review your year so far, to look at what's working for you, perhaps any other changes that you want to make. The angels are saying that our life really has the possibility to transform hugely, so that when we are in, you know, July, that our lives are going to look very different to how they look now. So it may require us to, you know, re-look at, you know, where we're headed once again. Perhaps there's going to be things that you know, are like moving the goalposts, so to speak, because we're already achieving what we set out to do. And that's not so much, I want to take the focus off, you know, loads of goals and tick lists. It's not about that. It's actually about our fulfillment, you know, how happy we're feeling, whether we feel like we're being true to ourselves, whether we still want to make adjustments with that, and especially if we have new people and support around us, if we're able to really make the most of that, then of course we may have different dreams and goals at that time. And this card just reminds me again of calling on that support in very many different ways. It's not just about one area of your life being supported, but really reviewing how can I be even more supported for the second half of the year. So, August, again, another major arcana card. This is amazing. So many beautiful messages right now. It says, take everyone's input into consideration, merge viewpoints to create a better solution. Take your time, there's no need to rush. So again, as we were saying, it seems to be like every 2 to 3 months, there seems to be a pattern here emerging. And right now, because we were just saying we're doing a review in July, August says, you know, again, take your time. And also, sometimes we always say it's really important to, you know, trust our own instinct. But it seems around July and August time that actually having different viewpoints, different pieces of advice, perhaps from a mentor or someone that you can trust, means that you're going to be having lots of fresh energy, new perspective, more support, perhaps things that you hadn't thought of, or perhaps gifts or skills that aren't so much your thing, so that you can make the most of what you are able to do, and other people can support you with it. That's part of the balance, of course. And also another part of the balance is taking your time, of resting when you need to, of making some time for play and not just about work. You know, often when we think of, you know, coming together with others and merging ideas, it's all about action. But this is also reminding us that we can make sure that we take care of ourselves and rest as much as we play and work. Okay? So that's August. September, interesting here. Life experience, another major arcana card. It says, let go of belief systems that no longer work for you. An important life-changing event a situation that leads to significant opportunities. Wow, again, so much opportunity for growth, and September is no different. They're actually showing me something very specific right now with this card, saying that because many of us will be in new relationships or taking our relationships to a deeper level, perhaps meeting very significant people in our lives, that we may find that September gives us the opportunity to really look at some of our issues that maybe been brought up by those relationships. That's not to say that we have to constantly push each other's buttons or that that's why we're in each other's lives, but we are a mirror for each other, and particularly in our intimate relationships, we grow together, we learn from each other, and sometimes that can be more comfortable than others, can't it? And so they're showing the partnership together there, but they're also saying that sometimes we have to really look at the beliefs that we have about our lives, about ourselves, about our relationships, in order to lead even more fulfilling lives. So again, it's like kind of moving outside of our comfort zone a little bit. Perhaps there may be an opportunity for you to take a class or to do something new together, or perhaps to make a move even. This feels like a significant thing that you choose for yourself or as a partnership or friendship that will lead you then to have a deeper connection with each other and, of course, ultimately with yourself, because that's where it all begins. Okay, so that's September. October, here we go. Prince of Spring, charming, self-confident, passionate, restless. Ooh, that could be us or somebody else in our lives. It says immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, a passionate relationship. So again, I want to say that the more that we are honest with ourselves in September and honest with each other, then that brings more passion into our lives. It brings us the opportunity to delve deeper into ourselves, into our relationships. But also, if there are any challenges that come up for us in October, it's really important that you know that as long as you deal with them and you don't bury your head under the sand, or you just ignore it, then it will be fine. Just deal with it. Do what you need to do. Be clear with yourself. Be clear with others. Set clear boundaries, and all will be well. So this is just one of those times where we're being given a little heads up to, if there are any bumps in the road, it's okay. It's just important for you to be proactive with it rather than passive. Okay? So November, here we go for November. Again, it's a summer card, but it's interesting because this again goes a little bit like there seems to be a couple of months at a time which have a bit of a theme. And this is trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from negative emotions of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. So what this means is that October, November, so this is kind of continuing with, maybe a little bit of challenging energy, really trusting that whatever is happening is for your highest good. And sometimes that can be letting go of things that, sometimes it's kind of challenging to let go of, even if we know it's for our highest good. It can be, a trap that we fall into, that once, something starts to be a little bit challenging, that we go into victim mode or start to worry that everything is scary and worrying. The angels and the fairies here are saying, no, don't fall into that. You can be human. We all have emotions. But what you can do in this moment, in this particular moment in November, is to really allow yourself to take a deep breath, to have faith, because we don't know all of the reasons why things happen. But the last thing you want to do is catch yourself in all kinds of, unnecessary drama about the whole thing. The more that you can surrender and go with the flow, the better it will be. Okay, that's November. All right, and so December, the end of 2016, it kind of feels weird doing this when we're only at the beginning, but this is beautiful card to end with. It says, open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship or the rebirth of a current one, the awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. So this really actually is perfect because we were talking about challenges and sometimes there being reasons for challenges, and I truly believe that because it's all about us, being more loving and feeling that love more, being more love, that we can remember that after we've gone through that little blip, that it's going to give us an opportunity to be even more of who we are. That this is an important time for us to listen to our intuition, to perhaps spend more time meditating or connecting with your intuition in a way that feels very honoring and sacred. You may even want to do a sacred ceremony. Obviously, we have the holidays come up at this time and it can be really busy, but I often think nature, especially in the northern hemisphere, the days are shorter, it's getting dark all the time, and it's really a beautiful time to listen, be more inward. So just like we're talking right now about January, it kind of is going full circle here because it is saying again, reconnect with yourself and with your inner world. They're also saying again, it seems to be a theme that's cropping up at various times throughout the year, but remembering that if we want deeper relationships with others, if we want to feel more connected, if we want to feel honored, if we want to feel like we're with people that we can trust or have fun with, then we have to be that person for ourselves, and then those people show up. So whether this is also another really pivotal time for people to meet each other, or maybe it's you following on from a relationship that began in the springtime, like we said, whatever it may be, this is a beautiful time to deepen your relationship with yourself and with others. And it feels like a magical year. All of us, of course, we always have the intention this is the best year ever, and of course I want that for you, but we don't always have to be quite so grand as that. What I can say though is it feels a very supportive year, and particularly we have these major cards come up that are signifying a very transformative, very significant year. I mean, there's 9 major arcana cards, I believe, or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 major arcana cards, I believe, out of the 12 that I pulled. So that means 3/4 of the year have this super duper powerful energy, and a lot of the other ones are about connecting, about celebrating each other, about making decisions for ourselves, about really feeling the support in those decisions, even though it's most important for us to trust our own intuition first, knowing that we're not on a planet with 2 people or on our own, that we can really allow this earthly experience that we have to be full of human earthly blessings and of course help from our heavenly team. So I'm sending you so much love. I truly do wish you a magical 2016. Of course, we'll be doing the weekly readings that will allow us to delve more in depth week by week. But I'm so happy to share this with you. I'm excited, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Much love from me, the fairies, and the angels. Bye-bye.